नमः।
ॐ जीवब्रह्मैक्यविधिरे नमः।
ॐ जीवन्मुक्ताय नमः।
ॐ जीवन्मुक्ताय नमः।
ॐ जीर्णमन्दिरोद्धारकाय नमः।
ॐ जीर्णमन्दिरोद्धारकाय नमः।
ॐ तपोवनशिष्याय नमः।
ॐ तपोवनशिष्याय नमः।
ॐ तपस्विने नमः।
ॐ तपस्विने नमः।
ॐ तापनाशनाय नमः।
ॐ तापनाशनाय नमः।
ॐ तीर्थस्वरूपाय नमः।
ॐ तीर्थस्वरूपाय नमः।
ॐ तेजस्विने नमः।
ॐ तेजस्विने नमः।
ॐ देहातीताय नमः।
ॐ देहातीताय नमः।
ॐ द्वन्द्वातीताय नमः।
ॐ द्वन्द्वातीताय नमः।
ॐ दृढनिश्चयाय नमः।
ॐ दृढनिश्चयाय नमः।
ॐ धर्मसंस्थापकाय नमः।
ॐ धर्मसंस्थापकाय नमः।
ॐ धर्मसंस्थापकाय नमः।
ॐ धर्मसंस्थापकाय नमः।
धर्मसंस्थापक, which is called as Dharmasamsthapaka, one who establishes dharma. Of his 108 names, this is the most wonderful name, one who establishes dharma. It means to say that when he teaches that which is in line with dharma. Remember in 4th chapter we saw Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. When there's a decline of dharma, Bhagavan says he takes avatar, dharma samsthapanarthaya, to re-establish dharma. That is why Bhagavan takes avatar. So here, in the history of India, you see all saints and sages and all incarnations and rishis and munis, all of them come only to re-establish dharma. Re-establish dharma means what? It means when the society is losing dharmic principles, society is operating only by adharma. Like we have in all societies at all times. You know, how much of adharma going on in this society at the same time? Amazing. And you never know how much of it is concealed and hidden and all that. So you don't know how much of adharma is going on. Who is controlling who, and who has real power, and what money power does, and all adharma. It is unimaginable to your mind, and what money power does, and who is funding what, and who is really in control of government. You don't know. Some people will be sitting in parliament and you think that they are in control, but you don't know. Who really pulling the strings? Behind. So much of adharma in the world. So all the Rishi, Muni, saints, sages, sadhus, avatars, incarnations, they all come to re-establish dharma. And that can be done only in the minds of people. Dharma you can't establish in the air. It means to say you have to bring the minds of people on the path of dharma. So he's called a dharma samsthapaka. Dharma samsthapaka, one who establishes dharma. In this case, re-establishes, because dharma was there at one time, then lost, then has to be re-established, then lost again, and again has to be re-established. That's how the world works. The world works in this way. Okay, so this is this name of Puja Gurudev, Dharma Samsthapaka. Now, when we left it last night, we were seeing chapter 6. And I'll tell you just now. 6:25 we have to see today. Now what is going on in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita? For all of you who are here in this Vishwanath temple, and to all of those who are listening outside on radio and abroad and all that on the internet. Chapter 6 is entitled Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga means what? See, two words are there. One is Dhyan and the other is Yoga. So Dhyan means meditation. It means meditation. Yoga means uniting with oneself. So the yoga of uniting with one, or the meditation to unite with one. What do you mean of uniting with oneself? But I am only one person. How one person will unite with one person? These are all technical terminologies in the science of spirituality. Yeah? How I will... Have you heard in English language? Think now. Look, pull yourself together. Have you heard? Well, if it's only you alone, how you going to pull yourself together? Pull yourself together means you have to have two things to pull together, isn't it? So if it's only you, how you going to pull yourself together? So the idea is the human being finds himself quite often in situations where he is here, but his mind and intellect is somewhere else. That possible or not? You see, if you're not answering me, that mean to say you are somewhere else. So it is possible that your body is here, but your mind and intellect is somewhere else. Second thing, so there is one possibility. That means to say half of you here, half of you there. So then you have to pull yourself together, isn't it? Second thing is, I can be one thing and I can take myself to be something else. That happens many times to people who, like for example, I remember when I was quite young, I saw a movie called Raja Aur Rank. Raja Aur Rank means what happened, you know. In the palace, the queen had twins. She had two boys. But the midwife took one of the babies and sent that baby away, and that boy, that little prince now, he grew up in the village. And the queen herself did not know she had twins. She thought she only had one son. Now, that little fellow grew up in the village. He is really a prince, isn't it? He's the king's son. But he is taking himself to be, rank actually means a beggar, pauper. So one boy grew up here as Raja. One grew up there as Rank. That's how the movie got the name Raja or Rank. He grew up as a pauper there. Doesn't have food to eat even. No, really speaking, he's not a pauper, you know. He is heir to the throne and to have the treasury and all that, isn't it? So he is one thing, but he is taking himself to be something else. That is possible in a human being. So it is said like just exactly like that. We are in that situation. How our nature is Sat Chit Anand. So we are one thing, but we are taking ourselves to be what? Well, I take myself to be a miserable, limited, fearful, and all the negative things that you can think about, we take ourselves to be that. Whereas our nature really is Satchit Ananda. All the Shastras tell, na? You all have chanted so many countless times. चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. How many times we go on chanting? My nature is Chit Ananda Rupa. Shivaham, I am auspiciousness itself, I am consciousness, I am bliss. Right? Then, the scripture is telling my nature is this thing, but I am taking myself to be this body, I am taking myself to be limited, I am taking myself to be dying creature, miserable creature, sorrowful all the time, I am taking myself to be ignorant, I am taking myself to be all sorts of things. Man, woman, this, that. How many? I take myself to be everything other than Satchit Ananda. So, in that case also, when I am one thing, but I am taking myself to be something else, I have to unite with my self. These are all the technical details about Vedanta. I am one thing taking myself to be something else. I am Raja taking myself to be Rank. I am Satchitananda taking myself to be limited body, mind and intellect. So, I have to now unite with myself. I have to take myself to be what I really am. That is called uniting with oneself. That is called yoga. Uniting with oneself. So, yes, it is one person, but he is misidentified himself. So, he has to now unite with his true self. Now he is united with his false self, body, mind and intellect and all. So that is how yoga word comes. So it's called as dhyan, meditating to do that. Meditating on my true nature. So that is the topic which is going on. So Bhagavan is telling now how to do that. We saw in detail. Now I cannot go back into all of that. Otherwise I will be stuck in one place. So now he's giving further instruction on this meditation. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
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 Shane Shane Ruparame Buddhyadriti Grihitaya Samsthamana kritva na kinchedapi chintaye
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Yato yato nishcharati manashan Chalamastiram
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Tatastato niyam yaitad atmanyeva vasham nayet
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Prashanta manasam dhenam yoginam sukhamuttamam
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam
ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम्
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमाश्नुते
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
श्रीकृष्णा शरणं मम श्रीकृष्णा शरणं मम
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Bhagavan says, when we sit on that seat of meditation, that seat which was described in previous days, in detail Bhagavan gave that description. Sit on the seat of meditation and casting out all external things externally, leave it, drop it. You have to be able to drop things. You know, people like to carry things in their mind. People love to carry weight in their mind. But to sit on that seat and drop everything, I told you now, you have to drop it like a hot potato. Tawa. Drop it like a hot tawa. When you hold a hot tawa in your hand, drop it, man. If you don't have this ability to drop things, meditation is out of your league. I told her that you will not have meditation. What you will have? Yes, stress management class. That is all you will have, not meditation. Meditation requires strong ability to drop anything. Just like when you hold a hot something, anything, you drop. You don't think a second time. So you're supposed to drop everything just like that. So we hold on things. I tell you, human beings are very good at holding on. You know, that's why I call us householders. Because you hold on to the house, hold on to this, hold on to that, hold on to everything. So, sit on that seat now and drop all things. And now go inside. He says, now, when you sit there, you know what will happen? You know, the mind, which all the time was not giving trouble, only when you sit to meditate, then the mind goes out to give trouble. You know how the world works? When you hang out close to dry, then the rain come. Correct or not? Huh? That's how the world will work. Everything. When you wash your car, yeah. Especially a white car. When you wash your car, that time the rain, no day raining. And let me tell you something. When you wash that car and you drive to the north, only on the north side rain come. Right south, no rain. But you didn't go south, you went north. That's how the world has worked. Amazing thing. When you go to shop, you know, you're going by the supermarket. You don't want to see such and such man, you know. When I go there, that Harihar, he does be standing. This man, I don't want to see him. When you go there, Harihar waiting right by the door. Eh? That's the world. So now, your mind good all the time. You drive in and your mind under control. When you sit to meditate there now, when the mind is supposed to be real quiet, that time, good. And that time, all the things that happen that you don't want to happen. You sit down there, quiet, no, nothing around. And you say, no, I'm going to meditate because my mind quiet and everything around quiet. That time, in never chonke some curry. Nice curry, the chonky, and they bujane something. And that smell coming right through you. Now your mind gone to curry. You start thinking which brand of curry is the best now. This brand, that brand, the other brand. See, you're supposed to be meditating, eh? On what? Paramatma, absolute reality of that reality which is Anadimat Param Brahma, Avyayaha, Satchidananda. Will you meditate on curry? Chief brand? Turban brand? Chatak brand? Which brand? Kala brand? You thinking about it? All kind of. And I wonder, where is Bujayinde? So your mind gone from the curry now to try to see between the curry smell and the smell of the takari with the chonky. You take it more breath. So what happened to your meditation? Anytime you sit, all such things will happen to Bhagavan, that the mind will go here and go there. So in these two verses, first two verses which we chanted, Shanaihi Shanaihi Uparamet Buddhya Dhritigrihitaya, the Dhritigrihitaya Buddhya, with a very firm and strong intellect. Slowly, slowly you pull that mind. Manaha Uparamet. Pull that mind. Okay, it will wander here and there, and that time only. Then, after pulling it, what to do? Atma samstham. Place it in the Atma. Atma samstham. Kritva. Having placed it in the Atma, na kinchidat pichintayet. Don't think about anything outside. Now see, this thing requires a great amount of practice for a long time. I don't think that you will get this in one day. You don't want to sit down there for meditation one day and say, Swamiji, nothing happened. Nothing will happen. Of course nothing will happen. But one day you want to get, look here. You want to go to university in one day and get a degree and come back? It will not happen. Yogis, they say, Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlavaha. This will come in the next chapter. Bahunam janmanamante. At the end of many, many countless births, jnanavan mam prapadyate. That yogi, jnani, he comes to me. You are no jnani or anything. In one day you want to do meditation, you want to reach Paramatma. Jnanavan mam prapadyate. The one who is endowed with knowledge and for many, many births, bahunam janmanam. He reaches God. And this person go on and do japa one day, do meditation one day, he do something one day, and he come back and says, Swamiji, nothing I walk in. Good day I walk in. Because Bhagavan don't want some kind of such lazy, procrastinating person to come. A person who comes on to the Lord has to be one who is worthwhile, na? Who is worthy, who is made of the nerves of steel. This is one of the big problems which is in our society also. Yesterday, or day before yesterday, I saw a little video clip on YouTube or something. Right? They are about 3-4 soldiers. So them find a monkey. 3-4 soldiers sitting, and they find a monkey. And they kicking around with the monkey. They joking around with the monkey. And one of them, they take the joke too far. He give the monkey gun. He give that monkey the gun now. Well, that was joke after that. He take the joke too far, but the monkey take it real far. Because that monkey started fire that gun now. That's a machine gun, eh? That monkey started pull that trigger. Well, them soldiers, them take cover all about. They run away from there. Because how they got the monkey pulling? Now, you go put a gun in the hands of a Monkey? But this is what has happened in society. We put valuable things and sometimes dangerous things in the hands of people who are not capable of wielding them. That is one big problem in society. So in this matter of spirituality, nobody could fool God and do that. We'll have a big CEO position and we'll put somebody totally incompetent in that position. But that could go on in politics and in society and among people and all that kind of thing, right? But in the matter of spirituality, only that person who is truly qualified, that person will ascend to the state of God realized. You can't fool God. You go fool the population and fool public and fool politicians and this and that. But you can't fool God. So this person has to really do this thing for a long time and make himself qualified, and there is nobody to give any test to say that now you are qualified, you can enter the portals of Godhood. There is nobody to say that there. Once you become qualified, you slip in automatically. That is all. You see? That is like when you have butter in a strainer. You have butter in a strainer. That is frozen butter. Now it will not go through the strainer. But if you put the strainer over a little heat with the frozen butter inside, the butter will melt. Now, there is nobody to say, okay, now this butter has melted, now it could go through the strainer. Go now. Once it has melted, it will go through the strainer automatically. Correct or not? Once this person has made himself qualified for Godhood, there is nobody to say, oh, God is standing there. Okay, now you qualify, you come. Nobody there. Once that person has made himself God-worthy, he'll slip into God and merge into God automatically. This is the idea. But while doing that, he'll have to face this obstacle. Biggest obstacle is our own mind. So therefore in the next verse is also, yato nischarati manaschanchalam tatastato niyamyaitat. From wherever the mind goes, it will go here and there. It will keep going. And have patience also. That is what mind does. Mind is like monkey. Swami Vivekananda used to say, mind is like a monkey, first of all. Not only ordinary monkey, like a monkey that has been stung by a scorpion. Is monkey chanchala ready by himself, right? And if a scorpion sting he. Think about that monkey. He will start to jump all direction. He said, that is nothing. He said, mine is like a monkey that has been stung by a scorpion and that has drunk a bottle of alcohol. Now you give him a bottle of alcohol to drink. Look, by himself he don't chanchal. Then scorpion sting him. Now he drink a bottle of alcohol. He says, worse than that too. Mine is like a monkey that has been stung by a scorpion, that has drunk a bottle of alcohol, and into whom a devil has entered. A devil enter he now. Think about his condition. That is our mind. So Bhagavan is saying here, yato nischarati. From wherever his mind has gone, tatastato niyamyaitat. You pull it back. And then what? Tatastato niyamyaitat atmaneva vasham nayet. And lead it back to the Atma. Place it back on the Atma. And Atma samstham, having placed on the Atma, nakinchirapi chintet. Don't think about anything else. We grew up in a culture of total ill discipline, lack of discipline, absence of discipline. In every aspect of our life, our whole society teaches no discipline. Do what you want, go what you want, say what you want, eat what you want. No discipline in anything. If you have no discipline outside, how do you have discipline? And if you can get the easy discipline, which is outside, how you will get the difficult one? Inside. Mental discipline. To keep that mind fixed on the Atma and not roam here and there. Very difficult. See how much of practice. Where is the demand of Bhagavad Gita and where are we? This should serve to tell us how long our journey is still there. Don't think that, no, I am such an advanced seeker, advanced sadhak. I almost at the door, you know. Back door. Yeah, he went by the door, you see. The exit. You have to be careful. So, don't go on thinking, right, so advanced. That is ego itself. That itself will prevent us from moving ahead. A person who with that kind of ego cannot move ahead. Bhagwan Bhashyakar says, you know, when he comes to these two verses, Bhagwan Bhashyakar means Shankaracharya in his commentary on this Bhagavad Gita, his Sanskrit commentary. He says, Eshaha yogasya paramaha vidhihi. He says, this is the highest instruction in this path of merging with God's spirituality. This is the highest instruction. There is no, the paramaha vidhihi. There is no other higher teaching than this. What? Take the mind, place it on the Atma, let it merge in the Atma and think of nothing else. Then after that, what is there to do? How can there be anything higher than that? Once the mind comes out there, the mind comes out with its identity, its finitude, its fears, its limitations, it's all such thing, and it goes back into sansar. There is no higher instruction than this in Shastras. Something to do. I mean, instruction is something which you can do. Prashanta manasam hi enam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti. That yogi who sits there, a sadhaka, spiritual aspirant who sits there like this and brings his mind to that state of pure quietude in his own heart where there is Brahman, God, reality. He brings his mind there. He says, Sukham uttamam upaiti. He goes to a state of supreme joy. Sukham uttamam, absolute joy. This is called as Ananda. This is the state he reaches. Shanta rajasam. When the rajas of his mind has come to it is rajas which causes the mind to, like the monkey. Rajas. So his rajas has become shanta. All rajas have ceased. Only sattva is there, some extent. Brahma bhutam akalmasham. He reaches that state of the taintless Brahman, absolute Brahman. So meditation is for this state. And this is a state of enlightenment, this is a state of moksha, mukti, whatever you want to call. Realization, Buddhahood, Nirvana, Shanti. So Shanti madhigacchati, Bhagavan calls this state of Shanti. He calls this state of Nirvana. What? In the same Gita. Mat samstha madhigacchati, which is my state. So many places, different words he uses. Yunjan nevam sadatmanam yogi vigatakalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute. This yogi who sits there in deep concentration on that Atma, brings the mind on the Atma, sadatmanam. Constantly, all the time, keeps the mind on the Atma. Vigatakalmashaha, having gone beyond all impurities, having transcended all impurities of the mind. Sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute. He comes in contact with Brahman and enjoys supreme bliss. Now this is the state which is being described. The state that one reaches through the practice of this meditation. And this is called enlightenment. He continues. See this. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
समदर्शनः
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Such a person who has reached this state of realization, which is being spoken about, which is reached only through this meditation, it means to say one has to exert. One has to exert. One has to put real self-effort over a long period of time. And don't think that anything... See, even worldly things, you have to put so much of effort to get even worldly things. What to talk about the most elevated thing in the universe, which is called God realization. For that, it will just not come like that. And don't, what you call, hold on to all these false beliefs of religion and all. Religion is good at selling things, selling false things. You know, every single person knows that there is one incontrovertible law, infallible law, and that is law of karma. And the law of karma is so you sow, so shall you. You know that the law of karma works. Every day we see. If I put some effort and I take polish and I shine my shoe go shine or not? Right, karma? The effort leads to a result. Right? You put the polish next to the shoe and you go to sleep. When you get up, you expect the shoe to be shining. But that is foolishness. The shoe will be shining? No. The karma will lead to the effect, the result. So you take the polish and you shine the... Maybe I'm using a bad example because nowadays nobody does shine shoe one thing again. But long ago, they used to have shoe and polish and all that kind of thing. But anyway, the person has to put effort. Please remember this thing. Effort is the name of the game in everything. Yeah? How you will learn something when you put no effort? You didn't open the book, you didn't read anything, you didn't memorize anything, and you want to go and pass the exam. Effort has to be put. So after many, many years of effort on this spiritual path, the person comes to this seat of meditation, meditates and realizes his own self, becomes God-realized. That also long years of practice. You read the life of our Puja Gurudev and all, Swami Tapobanji Maharaj, you read their life and you'll see what type of great tapas, how many years of spiritual sadhana practice that they had to do in this lifetime. And what about in previous lifetime? How they became great sannyasis and swamis and all because of previous life. That's why Bhagavan is saying in the next chapter, Bahunam Janmanamanti, after many, many births. So you please chart out your own course and see how far you still have to go. And don't get so absorbed by this mundane world of pairs of opposite, or so much of sansar, ups and down. And that person who reaches that stage and says, Sarvabhutas tamatmanam, sarvabhutani chatmani. What he sees, after that, he comes to see, that God-realized person, he comes to see that all beings are there in the self, and the self is there in all beings. God is there in all beings, and all beings are there in God. Means to say what? The water is there in the ocean, and the water is there in the waves too, isn't it? He only sees water. He doesn't see the difference between wave and ocean. He sees only water. Wave and ocean, they are there, but the more important thing, so this man sees all beings as God, and he sees God in all beings. He only sees God, in other words, in short. God is there in all beings. That being is made up of God only. So God is there in that being, but that being, cow, dog, we saw that in 5th chapter. Dog eater, anything. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastine, that learned Brahmana, or dog eater, elephant, cow, he sees God in all of them. But he sees all of them in God also. Whichever way you want to say it, it amounts to one and same thing. Sarvabhutasmatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate, he sees. Yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. That verse is equivalent to that other verse in 5th chapter, which I just quoted also. He sees that one reality existing all over. So therefore he has no discrimination and all such things which we mundane people have. Immediately when we see another person, let me tell you something. We discriminate excessively and instantly, without even knowing. We discriminate. On the street, the moment you see a person dressed in tattered clothes, mentally you don't sign he off. That man may be a professor. He may have more understanding and philosophical understanding, subtle understanding than you 10 times. But the moment you see him in tattered clothes, you don't discriminate already. You don't know. And discrimination works fast and instantaneously and constantly. We go on doing. If you see a Rastaman stand up by your gate, there is a vast difference than you see somebody dressed up in this clothes stand up by your gate. You're correcting or not? But the mind immediately when you see the Rastaman there, but never Rastaman like to visit Pandit. You know? Because they just go there to jare. Jare, yes, it'll take long to get at him. Oh, wow, for the all your mind working a little slow today, man. Anyway, so I'm talking about how the mind discriminates but this realized soul, he sees God in this, God in that, God in everything. But he doesn't discriminate between anybody. So we discriminate based on gender, race, nationality, color, anything, hairstyle. clothes. Anything we look into discriminate, We sign off Raman because of any little thing. So, and then we teach with children them discrimination too. Teach children also, same discrimination. So I grew up in my house with terrible discrimination. Saying this about that one and saying that about that one. Teaching the children that too. Then after you realize that Bhagwan is there in everything, it takes years to send out that discrimination from your mind. You see? Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati. He who sees me in all things. Mam pashyati sarvatra, everywhere, in all things. And sarvam cha mai pashyati. And who sees everything in me. Bhagwan is saying, tasyaham sulava na pranashyati. O Partha, sachame na pranashyati. Tasyaham na pranashyami. Sachame na pranashyati. That person doesn't get destroyed, let me see, for me, or to him I am not destroyed. What? Pranashyati? Here what it means is, that person is never out of my vision, and I am never out of his vision. The one who sees me everywhere and sees all things in me. He is never out of my gaze, and I am never out of his gaze. That is the idea. Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam yomam bhajati ekatvam asthitaha. He who recognizes me and worships me, existing in all things. Sarvata vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. That person, he dwells in me all the time. He dwells in me all the time because he sees me from all sides. He sees me everywhere he looks. That person doesn't have to try to see God. If anything he has to try not to see God. Because everything he sees is God. And right now, well, we try real hard to see God and we can't see God. Everybody, isn't it? Bhagwan, darshan do ghanasham nath more. Darshan do means, give me darshan, please let me see you. People begging to see God. But such a person, well, he cannot help but see God everywhere. You see? Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam, sarvata vartamanaha pi. In whatever, wherever he may be, in whatever state or condition, he sees only God, God, God. God intoxicated, sometimes they say. Atma upamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna. Sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramaha mataha. That yogi is supreme yogi. Now, in living in this world, this is a wonderful thing about living. If we practice it before, it will be easy for us to reach God realization. But for one who is God realized, this is what he practices. What he practices, he uses atma upamyena, atma upama. Atma upama means he uses the same measuring stick for his own joy and sorrow as he uses for other beings and creatures in the world. In other words, he knows that if somebody insults him, he'll feel sorrow. Therefore, he doesn't insult somebody because that person will feel sorrow. The same measuring rod that he uses for himself, he applies to the world. He uses himself as the measuring rod, in other words, to live in the world. So you know what you don't like, you should not give to somebody else. There is a simple rule. What a simple rule to start spirituality. Whatever you don't like, if you don't like people shouting at you, you should not shout at other people. If you don't like people insulting you, you should not insult other people. This is the idea. He uses this type of rule. Do unto others as you will have them do unto you. But this is where it comes from, Bhagavad Gita. Remember, this thing is written thousands and thousands of years ago. Huh? Western people go on and they say 5,000 years and all. That's not true, eh? I told you recently they unearthed Dwarka under the sea in Gujarat state. Dwarka, they are dating. Krishna he lived his last part of his life in Dwarka. And he gave this Bhagavad Gita much before Dwarka. They are saying Dwarka is more than 30,000 years old. They are not digging it up. So if he lived his last part of his life in Dwarka and he gave this Bhagavad Gita in Hastinapur before, in Kurukshetra, before going to Dwarka, and Dwarka is 30,000 years old, then that means Gita is more than 30,000 years old. You see? And that time it was. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I mean, what you don't like, you don't do to others. Now Arjuna asked a very wonderful question. This is Arjuna's question, very famous question. See, Arjuna Uvacha. Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Etasyaham na pashyami chanchalat Sthitim Sthiram.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadridham.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Tasyaham nigraham manye tvayoriva sudushkaram.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna. Now see, all of this thing is hinging on sitting quietly on the state in the seat of meditation, and Bhagavan said, pull the mind slowly inside and place the mind on the Atma. Atma samstam manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. Don't think about anything else. The whole thing is hinging on that, isn't it? If that is not achieved, then all these things we're talking about and all, then how we'll see God in everything and everything in God. How we'll reach the state of absolute peace, absolute bliss, happiness. Nothing will happen. The whole thing is hinging on the mind. Pulling the mind and placing it on the Atma. So Arjuna has a very pertinent question. Prabhu, you telling about pulling the mind and putting it on Atma, but it look like you are know about this mind. Yeah? So Bhagavan said, what do you mean I don't know about his mind? Arjuna said, Bhagavan, don't mind, eh? But I have to tell you about his mind. This is my yoyam yogastvaya proktaha. This yoga which you are talking about, samyena madhusudana, which is called a yoga of samyatvam. Samyat means which you are talking about, putting the mind in the self and reach to a state of absolute peace and tranquility and balance and equilibrium. This yoga which you are talking about, yoga of equanimity, etasyaham na pashyami. I don't see it as possible at all. But you are known as mind. Why? Chanchalatva sthitim stiram. This mind is fickle, jumping monkey-like. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavadram. This mind is chanchalatvam itself. It is not that there is a mind and the mind fickle. Fickleness itself is called as mind. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Oh Krishna. This mind is fickle. Like that. Fickleness itself. Pramathi. Churning. This mind make you get chakkar. You're dizzy. Churning like that. Pramathi. It is mind that make you go in circles, na? Human being going in circles or not? We go in circles all the time because of the mind, the greed of the mind and the desires of the mind and the craving and longing and all such things. We go in circles. See here. The mind have desire and greed, right? It run after money, run after money, run after greed and desire is there. You run after money. And he spent 40, 50 years running after money. Then, that time he didn't think about the health. He didn't think about nothing. Exercise, only running after money. Now after 50, 60 years, he get all disease now. Now the same money where he make now, he are going to spend it to get rid of the disease now. But that is circle or not? But he going in circles. He sell his health for 50 years to get money. And he get his money now. He has to spend the money to get rid of the disease that he accumulated over the 60 years, 50, 60 years. That is an amazing thing. That is circle or not? That is circle. So it is mind causes this. Pramati. It makes that person go in circle like a fool. Chakkar he get. When he done, he get dizzy and he fall down. Pramati, this is mind. Balavat, and the mind is strong. When it wants something, nothing I want to stop. You see, even from childhood, I recently see a child want a toy in a store. And that tomorrow I want to buy that toy. Man, he pulling and kicking and balling and the mind want it. Balavat, strong. And the next one is stubborn. The mind stubborn. Wanted to hold on to some idea or hold on to something. Don't want to let go. So it's, two people quarreling and they're arguing and have you seen that? I right. The next one say, I right. This one say, I right. Two of them stubborn, that mind. Even after the person discovered that they're wrong, they still, They still find some justification to show how they're right. Yeah. I was wrong. I should not do it. I admit I was wrong. But you make me do it. Is he still find some? Yeah. You make me do it now. Again, he throw the blame on that. When they throw the blame on the next one, when the argument start, again. And like the lady who say, and the lady and husband, I like this story too bad. The lady and the husband, they quarreling. The husband say, I right. The wife say, I right. The husband, I right. Why? I right. Then the wife go, okay, take hai. No. Thero. Thero means stop. I'll tell you what. Dekho. See this. I will admit I am wrong, the wife said, if you admit I am right. Now, what kind of solution is that? I will admit I am wrong if you admit I am right. He's scratchy here and he'll confuse him. He's scratchy here and thing. He says, say that again. She said, I will admit I am wrong if you admit I am right. He said, okay then, you go ahead first. She said, I am wrong. He said, you are right. Well, the argument start over again. Dhram, the mind. Stubborn like anything, this mind. That's why, let me tell you something. See, all I'm thinking, I don't know because people tell me directly from their own life, you know. Because how many places on this earth, how many houses I have gone. When I go there, I stay with some family only. This family will host me here, that family will host me there, and the other. And where do you think I get all them story from? I just hear real nice stuff, you know, entertaining this job is, eh? I just hear all kind of nice story. Amazing thing. So the wife and husband in the houses, them will tell me all them thing. Let me tell you how to say, real story. So I stayed in a house with a fella. He tell me now, he says, Swamiji, let me tell you first of all, my wife is not an Indian. He's Indian, eh? He's from India. He said, Swamiji, don't worry, you could tell this story also in your lecture. So he tell me true story now. He said, Swamiji, my wife is not an Indian. I say, oh, I didn't know. What is your wife? He said, my wife is Caucasian American. Caucasian American. I said, oh, Caucasian means white person. So, he said, when I now come from India, I married this Caucasian woman. So one day she tell me, drop she by the beauty salon. So I drop she there. She going to get she hair done, you know. Hair done. I don't know hair done. So after about half an hour, 45 minutes, he come to pick she up now. So he picks she up and he drive out and he driving home. So he say nothing. Well, he's bhole bhale Indian fella, you know. Indian culture different from American culture. So the American wife telling him now, well, you didn't tell me anything about my hair. Because according to American culture, you're supposed to say, darling, your hair looks beautiful. But he's an Indian, you know. He say, no, darling, your hair looks beautiful. And he just picks you up and drive home. Because he had that in his culture, right? So he say, oh, sorry, dear, I didn't know. Your hair looks beautiful. He corrected it, he had to be politically correct, he living in America now. So he said, there, your hair looks beautiful. So after some 2-3 months, 5-6 months pass again, and again he carries she by the same place. And he drops she off, and he come back again after 45 minutes, 1 hour, and he pick she up. So it's like this time now, he remember from the last time, you know. So when she sit down in the car, he said, darling, your hair looks beautiful. She said, really? I came to do my nails. No, see, this kind of thing. But like this, I just hear all kind of story from all kind of houses that I just stay in. So one common story I hear in houses like this. Swamiji, since I'm married, this man are trying to change him. And that man won't change. And the husband will say sometimes just like that also. Since I'm married, this woman are trying to change she, but she's stubborn. That common thing I hear. She's stubborn. And all them children come out just like she. You hear thing? I tell you how the job entertaining. I hear all kind of nice thing like that all about. So I just stay inside. I can't laugh hard because I will look bad. I just laugh inside too bad. You know? Arjuna is telling Bhagavan, this mind is stubborn. Dhram. Because what has to change? The person's mind has to change, not their foot. Isn't it? What has to change? Is there? Mind. So if the person stubborn, what's stubborn? Mind. He telling. Yeah. He says, Prabhu, Arjuna surrenders to his own mind in his last lines. Prabhu, tasyaham nigraham manye vayuriva sudushkaram. Man, I think it's easier to control you wind than to control his mind. You could put a little barricade there and turn the wind so, like a long time in Morokai to have a little triangular glass piece in the corner there. When you turn it so the wind cuts so. You control the wind. You cut the wind in whichever direction you want. But this mind, tasyaham nigraham mane vayu means wind. Vayu reva sudushkaram. So difficult. So now Arjuna is telling Bhagavan, and you are telling me to control his mind and put it in Atma and don't think about anything else? You look like you don't know about his mind. So Bhagavan said, Arjuna, you're right. He looked like Bhagavan Sarina now too. Who teaching who here now? Bhagavan teaching Arjuna, Arjuna teaching Bhagavan. First thing Bhagavan said, Arjuna, you're right. But then what he says after that we will see tomorrow.